what are the hard skills required to make it as an entry-level data scientist or data engineer?
One of the programming languages, so again, we talked about the business domain and things like that. You need to understand how to apply it, but to really, in terms of hard skill, one of the programming languages that is really uses Python. So if you have that, that's definitely topmost in my perspective. In addition to that, you have to understand where the data lands and how to curate. So SQL skills. I work in the SQL team, so I really build the next level of SQL functions. Wow. SQL skills are really important, and I've been hearing for many years that it might be replaced or changed or whatever, but no, every data scientist, data analyst, that data engineer that I've worked in my career for past 15 plus years have to have that. So definitely that's one skill. And then these would be my top two, but then there are additional skills that you can get to. If you go to data engineering side, there is Scala or Spark or those side of things that you can learn about big data and how data is stored. But those would be my top two, and I'll stop there.
I actually had a question for you, Mazma, for those more esoteric or special skills like Scala and Spark. At least what I've seen in the interviews that I've gone through, most of the times it's kind of company dependent, depending on what system or infrastructure they have set up. But the universal language that I've seen in every interview is SQL, right? Do you see? Does everyone? Nick's like, yes, data libra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, SQL, then you definitely, for one of the technical interviews, there would be a SQL interview there. And then if you're going for data science job, there would be a model building, engineer, problem solving. So they might give you a problem. Like, for example, if you own, I'll give you an example here. They might ask you if you're Uber Eats, you want to add a Korean food category into it and tell me what models you will use or and you have to design the whole thing, right? So thinking about that, there's of course the communication skills, all of that, but then you need to understand how we do build the model, what types of models are out there, how do you gather the data, what results you will do, how do you improve the model, the whole life cycle of a model design for data scientists. And then in the interview itself, most of these companies will let you choose your choice, programming language choice. Lots of time what I've seen is people use Python. It's easy to do that, and you can do a lot of things done and very fast. So I would go with that.
So I'm hearing SQL and I'm hearing Python, right, guys? This is what the two that staying true to Maposa's question, on a scale of maybe 1 to 10, where do you guys think this would rank? Like if you had to scale it, like which one is, or maybe they're both 10s, or one is an 8 and another's a 7, or.
Nick, you can't say SQL's a 10. That's what I'm going to say.
It's not a 10. It's not a 10.
Yeah.
It's not a 10. It's just that, like, if your Python is weak, or if you have a CS background, go deep into Python. Like, I come from a CS background. It was, I did Python for so many years before I even did data science, because I'd been coding for a while in Python without knowing anything about data science. But if you're coming into the data world and you don't come from a programming background, but you want a data job, I feel like SQL is a little bit easier to learn and like much closer to like actually doing the things.
You feel like SQL's a 10. I think that's what you were trying to say, right?
Yeah, it's a 10 if you're not a great coder or you haven't done multiple CS classes. It's a 10.
I see.
I agree. I'm just giving you a hard.
Cool.
One thing I will say is it also depends on what role you want, right? Because, like, for instance, if you're going to be like a data analyst, like that's your first role, like you might try something like Tableau, which is a little bit easier to learn. It's a little bit of an easier, more gradual learning curve. SQL's not too bad either, especially compared to Python, but Tableau's even easier because you're not really coding for most of it. So, and a lot of you guys could land a really great job by just using Tableau. It could be decently high paying, decently remote, those types of things. So really just depends on what your goals are and what type of job you're looking at.